James J. Marlow is a West Asia analyst. He's now joining us live from London. Good to see you, Mr. Marlow, and welcome. If both sides, that is Israel and Hamas, continue to breach part of the first phase of the ceasefire agreement by delaying the release of prisoners or even hostages, doesn't that put the remaining two most crucial stages, the second and the third, in jeopardy?
Well, it's nice to see you as well, Eric. We are at a stage right now whereby the phase one is almost complete. But as you said, Israel has repeatedly said that the way that the hostages who are being released, who are being paraded on the stage, who are being walked 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes more, being pushed, being jeered, being shouted at by those crowds. And they're literally, you can see them, there's hundreds and hundreds. There are families who come out, they bring their children, they bring their babies. And I think from Israel's point of view, it actually finally went over the red line when the babies who were brought on stage, this is of course Ariel and Kafir, who weren't just killed in Gaza, that the forensic team actually says that they were strangled to death just a few weeks after that they were captured, where they were seen taken alive into Gaza. A few weeks, that's sometime in November 2023. And of course, the mother, Shiri, was returned, but it wasn't her, it was somebody else. Now, Hamas said, well, we don't really understand what the fuss was about. We'll sort out the bodies and we'll send another one. But from Israel's point of view, I mean, they took 251 hostages. Some of them were dead already, and they took the dead bodies in. And Israel just feels if you want to go ahead and negotiate, then we will, meaning Israel, will release hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. By the way, a lot of them are serving life sentences. They're not just detainees that are picked up since October the 7th. They're releasing them. This is very, very hard. I was just speaking to somebody earlier on today, the brother of somebody who was killed by a Palestinian terrorist is actually now slated to be released. And also a friend of mine's little girl, 12-year-old girl, she was blown up on the streets of Ben Yehuda Street in the center of Jerusalem. Again, her killer is also slated to be released. So this is very, very hard. On the other hand, you want to get out the 63 hostages still remaining. But if Hamas is going to continue to parade these people on stage, including dead bodies, and you've got celebratory music going on, you've got young kids cheering at the dead bodies, even the babies, then Israel says, it's enough. We cannot continue like this. We're going to look at other ways to continue this.
All right, Mr. Marlow, let me ask you this. Who will break ground here and put both Israel and Hamas in line and make them adhere to the set goals of the agreements and quit playing hanky-panky with a fragile deal? And I'm talking about both. Don't specify on one. Both.
Well, from Israel's point of view, it's not really hunky-punky. It's literally life or death. Many of those hostages who were taken, many of them were civilians. They were taken alive. Some of them were taken dead. They've been there for 504 days. And we know from the hostages that have already come out that they've been hung up from their feet. They've been beaten. They've been starved. 2 or 3 days without any water. This is very, very hard for a lot of the people and a lot of the supporters of Israel around the world. From the Palestinian point of view, again, they are looking to get out prisoners who have been convicted. Not all of them. Some of them are actually detainees who are waiting for trial, but they're looking to get those out. And as I mentioned to you, some of them are serving life sentences. To answer your question, who will put this right? Well, the Americans will probably step in. Now, Ron Dermer, who is the Minister of Strategic Affairs, went off back to Washington on Thursday. He spoke with his American counterpart, people from President Trump's team as well. Now, President Trump, as you know, has given a green light to Israel to do what they need to do anything to get out the hostages.
Okay.
Ron Dermer is on his way back to Israel. And what Israel has said very clearly is that they will not release the 623 hostages for the time being until the next hostage from Israel's point of view will come out, because they want guarantees themselves that these hostages will not be paraded. And I have to tell you, Eric, I think that's a very reasonable request from Israel's point of view. Hamas are doing this because they're showing they're in power, they're in force, and that they can take on Israel again. And Israel has said that they will not allow Hamas to stay in power. How this unfolds, we'll have to see in the coming weeks.
Mr. Marlow, we are out of time. Thank you very much for your insights and for talking to us today. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.